You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Bold and Beautiful fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have kind of an outrageous idea. Not a prediction, not a spoiler, kind of a speculation, something to talk about because just a lot of hints have been dropped lately and it got my wheels turning. And I'm wondering if Sheila Carter is going to pull a full Mrs. Doubtfire. We had mentioned this briefly in our weekly bold predictions, but it has been bouncing around on the back burner of my brain. And I love the idea. I think it'd be so much fun. And so I wanted to talk about it some more. I wanted to explore it some more with you guys. So, recall there's all this recent talk about needing a new nanny. And not for nothing that they brought it up several times. So we have to wonder if this will be a big plot point soon that intersects with Sheila Carter's release from jail recently. Will Sheila find a way to worm herself closer to her son and her grandson on the sly, Mrs. Doubtfire style? Let's talk about it. All right, if you haven't already, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our B&B updates. If you click the bell, you'll get a notification when there's a new one for you. Digging in. So the first thing to talk about is Sheila's got a mask making pro who's a contact of hers. Remember, she had a very convincing mask, and that was letting her slither around LA for quite a while, despite the cops having a bolo out on her and everyone else looking for her. And she was coming and going from Deacon's, and they didn't recognize her. And that mask that they made for Bold was really amazing. I mean, it had like a prosthetic nose. It looked weird, but it didn't look like her. And so, I mean, obviously they can't use that same mask, but Sheila could reach out to her contact and get a different mask. The second thing to talk about is that Sheila learned the valuable lesson of no open-toed shoes when you're in your mask. So she had that mask on, but she was wearing sandals. That is not a good look when you have lopped off your toe trying to convince people you're dead. It's also not a good look when you run into your daughter-in-law that hates you and you have your 9 toes on display. Remember back when that happened, when Steffi realized she had seen Sheila and she was kind of like, she looks a little familiar because it was still Sheila's hair. But then it was like, she looked down 9 toes and she's like, oh crap, that's Sheila Carter. So if Sheila stocks up on Skechers, she'll be fine. She just can't wear sandals or flip-flops. I don't even know how flip-flops would hang on when you have 9 toes. Not entirely sure. If someone has 9 toes, let me know. Do you wear flip-flops? All right. So the third thing to think about is Sheila has contacts. She actually has some money. She could trump up a resume. She could get some fake references, and she could apply for this nanny job in a mask. And just like in Mrs. Doubtfire, she could even fake an English accent. She could go full Doubtfire. Because remember, Robin Williams in the movie, that's what he did. He had the English accent, So I just think that'd be a lot of fun.
The water's boiling.
Hello! And another thing to think about right now, Liam has decided he has to protect Steffi and Kelly and Hayes because he sees Finn as tainted by his horrible troll of a mother. And the thing is, even though Liam's on high alert about both Finn and Sheila, I don't think he would look twice if there was a new kind of frumpy nanny, if Sheila was in a full disguise, a slightly padded suit, the cardigan. Like I said, go full Mrs. Doubtfire, where she physically doesn't look like herself either. And I do think if, and of course this is all an if, we're just having a conversation. I'm not saying it's a spoiler. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying, boy, would this be fun. So if they did this, Finn would not be part of this plot. He would not endorse this. But if Sheila does it, obviously she'd have to hide it from her son too. But eventually she'd be found out. And once the truth came out, as it always does on soaps, it would absolutely ruin his marriage because Liam would push forward to convince Steffi that Finn was in on it all along. And he wasn't honest with her about the Sheila thing. Liam took video. He's going to show that to her later this week. I think it is on, I'm looking, Thursday. So Liam is definitely already going to be throwing Finn under the bus. And so if Sheila did this, then that'd be the end, the absolute end, because it'd be very hard for Finn to convince anyone that he didn't know. All right. So what we also know is that Sheila is desperate to be near Finn and baby Hayes. But right now, Steffy is beefing up security. Remember, she was on the phone on Monday. Get extra people in. Sheila's crazy. Sheila's dangerous. The only way that Sheila can get close is on the sly. She showed up and she snuck into their house once. I think she was in the mask and she was playing with Hayes, who was in his playpen. And so the thing is, B&B could unfold this slowly. Let it heat up while Jacqueline MacInnes Wood takes time off from maternity leave. Just a quick note, I said this on the other video for today's episode. A lot of people are saying in the comments, oh, she's had her baby, it's a girl, she's on maternity leave. Nope. None of that is true. Nothing is confirmed. Jackie Wood has not released any info about giving birth, nor has any big magazine like People or any of them, because usually they buy stories like that from celebrities, even from soap stars. No, she's not giving birth. The whole Bold crew is on summer break, but that just ended. So no, she's not on official maternity leave that we know of. And if she's given birth, she's keeping it a secret. It's kind of hard to tell how far along she is by the way they're patting her, but she doesn't look 9 months worth of pregnant, at least not right now on the show. So when we have filmed this, are making this video, it's July 24th. So as of this point, there's no birth announcement. So please don't drop into the comments 2 months from now and say, oh, she had her baby. We know she's going to have her baby. But as of the time we're recording this, she hasn't had her baby. There's no news about maternity leave, nothing. And the last time, she didn't really take a lot of maternity leave. She filmed ahead. She did some video scenes. But if she does do a proper maternity leave, they can build up to this nanny thing while that's going on. Bold generally does a slower burn with things. I know we got Thomas and Hope at rapid fire pace, but that was for July sweeps. And then they, let Sheila go as part of sweeps. But then we're out of sweeps. We're heading into August. So I think the pace is probably going to slow back up a little bit. So also, Bold and the Beautiful is going to flip back to Thomas and Hope soon. So we'll just have to see. This week is a week of Liam, pounding his chest and declaring himself Steffi's hero while dissing Finn by showing her this video of Finn and Sheila. Next week, spoilers say Steffy takes a drastic step. Maybe she takes the kids to Paris, and that sets the stage for her maternity leave. And we could get Mrs. Doubtfire later this summer. They usually just don't move that fast. Another next week spoiler says that Finn is in uncharted territory. Kind of a strange spoiler. Maybe it's him not being seen as the good guy. Maybe it's him having to say goodbye to his wife because she's running from his mom. I don't know. All right. So we have one last comment, but before we dig into that, if you haven't already, please click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Bold and the Beautiful updates. If you enjoyed this Mrs. Doubtfire Sheila Carter special edition, please click a like, and we look forward to your comments on this. What do you guys think? Sheila, she did that wild mask plot before. So will they recycle it? And will she get a job as the nanny? Here's the interesting thing. If she did put on the mask and get the job as the nanny, it's not really illegal. I mean, she would be giving out a fake resume, but that's civil fraud. That's not criminal fraud. It would be criminal fraud if you gave a false resume and were doing it to bilk people out of money. But just, lying and wearing a mask and showing up to be a nanny, it's not really illegal. So I don't think that would even send her back to jail, and it would give her access to Finn and Hayes. So I think it's fun. I hope they do something like this. Who knows? We'll wait and see.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.